So as usual, Etsy has went and updated their policies again, and as usual, it is less than clear. However, in today's video, I'm going to break it down exactly of how it applies to digital product sellers and print-on-demand sellers, which are the majority of you who watch this channel. So I'm not going to dive into the handmade space or all of the drama around 3D printing. If you are new around here, I am Bailey, the owner of Bailey Design Co., a 7-figure digital design shop on Etsy, and I now teach others how to create the same types of shops on this YouTube channel and in my online communities. So since I hate reading through long, boring policy changes in handbooks, I decided to let AI help me break this down in the most simplest ways by asking it actually what the questions the majority of my members were asking, and hopefully be able to get a little bit more clarification than what is just provided by just reading it. So my ChatGPT has been trained on multiple Etsy sources, including their handbooks, policies, pages, as well as Etsy forums. So it is a lot of information that it already has pre-built in there, but I wanted to start it out with just a very basic question to make sure it understands. So I asked it, do you know about the recently released Etsy creativity standards for sellers? Just to make sure it actually understands. And then it gives me, here's the lowdown on Etsy's freshly updated creativity standards as of June 10th, 2025. So then it basically goes into what has changed as far as some of the different categories, which mainly is focusing on 3D printed and computerized goods, as well as some vintage and party craft supplies. However, that's not what we're really concerned about on this channel. So I'm gonna keep scrolling down. It goes into a few more things, and it does actually provide the sources as well, which is helpful if you are looking into that type of information. So since it gave me basically a broad overview of what has changed with different categories, specifically in 3D printing, I went ahead and asked it the next question, which is, what about handmade sellers who are doing a craft like heat pressing a shirt with their own equipment and hands? Are they allowed to buy sublimation designs from a seller like me to make their shirt with, or will they still need to make changes with it? So I worded it this way because this is the biggest question that a lot of my members are giving me right now, which is, do we still have a market to sell our AI digital designs to? And with the answer that I was given, we are, because of the category that handmade sellers are in. So if you've been around the channel any length of time or are a member of one of the communities, you know that we primarily sell sublimation designs, which are things like designs for tumblers and t-shirts and mouse pads and wind spinners, just to name a few. There are literally hundreds of different sublimation products. So by understanding that, you'll know that our category of who we actually sell to are in the handmade space. So then it goes on to answer, if you are a seller hand heat pressing shirts with your own equipment and hands, like sublimation or DTF, which we also do that as well, you are considered under Etsy's made by seller category. So you can use purchase sublimation designs, provided you're actually applying the design yourself and then the seller's license permits the resale of the physical product. So it goes on to just elaborate that it falls under the made by a seller definition. So you are creating physical items with your own hands, not drop shipping or outsourcing, or specifically what a lot of people think we are selling to is POD sellers, but I'll get into that in just a moment. It then just goes on to make sure you are staying compliant by giving you some tips of how to list. But then I went into my next question. So this is going to apply for probably about 25% of the people in my members who are print-on-demand sellers and who also follow the channel. I'm actually in the middle of a summer challenge where I am building a hybrid print-on-demand shop and digital product shop together. So this is really important to note because it has changed for POD sellers. So I asked it, and what about print-on-demand sellers? Do they have to be the original designer, or can they still buy designs? So the answer is, you must be the original designer, not just the printer. So Etsy's updated standards require that any physical product produced by a third party, like a POD service, must be based on your own original design. That means the artwork or file that you're printing must be uniquely yours, either hand designed in something like Procreate or Adobe Illustrator, or designed with AI. So in the past, many print-on-demand sellers would just purchase designs from Etsy or something like Creative Fabrica and then add it to their mockups and sell that without making any changes. And the reason why Etsy wants to get away from this is because they are tired of having duplicates just stacked one against each other and everybody just seeing the same results because everybody is buying the same designs. So basically the TLDR is just if you are printing with your own hands, meaning you are making your shirts, your sublimation designs, or your tumblers at home, you can use digital files as long as there is a commercial license. If you are using a POD partner, then your design must be original and created by you, because Etsy is seeing you as the designer and not the producer of the product. So now more than ever, it's really important either to learn how to prompt AI efficiently and effectively so that you're able to make your own designs for your print-on-demand products, or be able to learn something like Procreate or Adobe Illustrator and really hone in on those design skills. Since I am not a graphic designer, I am an AI prompter. That is what I focus on. So for me, really, I am just learning all of the time how I can prompt AI better for my graphic designs and now for my print-on-demand shop. And if you are one of the members of my design club where I provide trending prompts for trending Etsy products, then just stick with me for a moment because I'm going to go over that and how you can make sure that what you are putting up as far as digital designs or print-on-demand products remains safe as far as following Etsy's rules. So then I asked it one follow-up question. And what about AI digital design sellers? Did they change any rules for us just to make sure? So it has it highlighted here. AI created digital downloads, whether that be SVGs, PNGs, printables, you are allowed to as long as you prompt and curate the AI yourself. The final designs are significantly shaped by your creative input and not just copy paste outputs, and then you disclose that it was made with AI, which we should be doing anyway since that was updated last year. Then it goes on to say what is not allowed, which is selling AI prompt bundles or uploading generic stock or license elements, which was never allowed anyway. And that is basically what is not allowed in the AI digital design space. So someone actually reached out to me via Instagram and said, well, it looks like you're going to have to close your design shop since you are selling AI prompts. To the which I quickly responded that, well, I am not selling AI prompts on Etsy. I sell them on my own community, which is hosted on the school platform. So I'm not technically selling prompts on Etsy, but we will dive into how to make sure you are still not just copying and pasting the prompts that I provide. So if you are a current member, or maybe you were a past member, you will know that I provide a daily trending product, whether that is a PNG file, a Tumblr wrap, a file for a wind spinner, or maybe a phone case. And that is the product that is trending, meaning it is actively being searched for more than usual and it has a low competition. This data is pulled from a wide variety of sources that I have set up in a specific type of bot. So it pulls directly from Etsy itself as well as other marketplaces. This information is technically available through any Etsy keyword research tool or any keyword research tool, honestly, that follows trends. So that information is really readily available for anybody. I just curate it. Once I find a trending product each day, I then create an AI prompt to actually create, say, the PNG file. This is specifically done with AI as well. I will usually just voice memo out a description of what it is that I want it to create, take that into ChatGPT and have it actually write me a prompt specifically for an image generation. This is usually based on my own experience as far as the style trends. So whether I decide to use the subject of a Highland cow or a raccoon is based purely on experience as well as like the design aesthetic. So maybe it is something like cottagecore or coquette, or maybe it is in the theme of a particular holiday that is coming up like the 4th of July. I then go ahead and post the prompt for 6 different AI tools with the examples so you can see what the output is so that you don't have to go and waste a bunch of credits trying to see if you like ideogram versus Dolly. So I post them for Dolly, Kittle, Ideogram, Canva, Midjourney, and Playground. Now, I have many videos and posts in there explaining how important it is for you to go in and customize the prompt according to your preferences and according to different styles that may be trending. However, there are a certain percentage of people who do just go and copy paste the prompt and use it, and this is definitely not recommended, nor is it really acceptable, but I have no control over that. And in the end, the only person who really wins when doing this is the person who has the highest either shop quality score or listing quality score with Etsy, meaning they have higher number of sales and they are having a high number of reviews, and usually the shop has been around longer, so they have more of an establishment on Etsy, so they therefore get the priority because Etsy always tries to send the traffic where they most likely think it will convert. So what I recommend doing with my daily trending products and prompts that I provide in the Design Club is to use this very simple workflow in ChatGPT to not only change the prompt, but actually scale it across as many different products that you want. In this example, I've just done it with 10, and I have shown this before, but basically you're just going to take this trending Etsy digital product and prompt to create it and scale it across 10 other Halloween niches. Be sure to include the changed AI prompt in a similar example style. You can replace that with whatever. I have brushstroke style because that's what it was for, and the reflected changed titles and tags in the same SEO formatted way. This prompt flow will also be down linked in the description. It is just hosted in my free community so that you can copy and paste each of these and get the same types of results. Then it has a spot for the prompt, which is right here, as well as the SEO, so title and tags. And this just makes it so that you don't have to go back and copy and paste and erase parts and then try to refill it with whatever your subject might be. It then went ahead and gave me 10 different really unique ideas based on that original prompt that I had given it. And each of them, if you watched that video, turned out super cute. I would recommend watching it just to get a really good idea of how this actually works and how easy it is to scale a trending product and prompt. Now, inevitably, some people are going to be like, well, I'm going to lose a ton of customers because all of my customers were POD sellers. And from my experience, most of the time, those types of POD sellers are purchasing their designs from Creative Fabrica, where they have a membership where they can get thousands and thousands of designs for just a couple dollars a month. And specifically, I do have a few POD sellers that are a part of my design membership, and most of them were in the process of learning how to use AI anyway. So it is just my recommendation at this time that if you are a POD seller, that you really focus on trying to learn AI, or if you want to design traditionally, then focus on maybe a class that teaches Procreate or Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop or something like that. But for the most of us, this is not going to have an impact because our sellers are in the handmade seller category, and therefore they are still able to buy commercially available designs, which is how I list mine. Now, if you don't list yours with commercial use, you're probably missing out on a lot of sales anyway, because most sublimation crafters are selling their physical and finished products anyway. So I'd highly recommend changing that to allow for commercial use, as it usually will help increase your sales. I hope this video cleared things up as much as possible. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.